What is up, everyone? We are back with another episode of Shaping the Culture. Let's just get to it. The whole secular sacred divide. There is no distinction in the scriptures. Some of us have trust issues with God, and some of us, it's like, does God really got us? You can't engage the culture with the gospel that first has not engaged you. Like, you know how people are like, oh, that's just who I am. Nah.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Shaping the code.
So this question is for the both of you. It's kind of personal, but if it applies, go ahead and take it. So recently, God has put me in a position where I'm in the public eye a lot. So I'm a runway model. And within the 1.5 years I've been doing this, I have got multiple interviews, as in magazines and TV appearances. Now, with that being said, how do I'm in a place where I'm transitioning from like no one to someone, but also in a place where it's like I get a lot of uncomfortable attention. That's what I would put it as, uncomfortable attention, and I'm now finding it hard to find community. So what would be your advice when it comes to that community, but also being in the public eye?
So to answer your question, I think being in the public eye or even having public attention sucks. Sometimes I hate it, and sometimes I lean into it. But I think that I always have to ask myself, God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to teach me? Like, God doesn't do anything on accident. Everything, we all have platforms. I tell people that all the time. It's like, we all have platforms. If you're on social media, that's a platform. And so you just have to figure out how to steward that platform well. I don't really know what you mean when you say negative attention. I don't know if that's like from guys or I don't know what you mean by negative attention, but I get negative attention all the time.
And when I say negative attention, I mean like attention where it's like, I'll walk into church and it's, hey, Miss, fashion model, hey, Miss Famous, hey, Miss this, that, and that, the other. And again, being from a place that's from the hood in Scarborough with no attention, just learning how to fight her way through life, to knowing God, and then God giving her this platform, giving me this platform, where I'm like, no attention to a lot of attention. Like I think from like just close friends knowing me to like 200 plus people that are in the modeling / fashion industry, and I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot of attention. It's a big transition. How do I handle that?
Yeah. One thing that I've always did was look at the life of Jesus. Jesus was known for straying away from crowds to go and before his Father and pray. And I think in a very practical way we can do that. I think being intentional with surrounding yourself around people who don't care about who you are. Like I surround myself around people, and I become friends with people who don't really care about who I am like that. And so I think that's important. I think that's healthy. I think that if you have people in your life that only care about what you do in the public, I think that's just not good for your heart. And so I think that you have to surround yourself around people who love you and see you. Because the thing about being in the public eye, a lot of times people don't see you. They don't see you. And I tell people all the time, like in my church, a lot of popular Christians were getting critiqued. And I was like, no, I told my leaders, I said, no, we really have to love people with platforms well. And I have a heart for people with platforms because I have a platform, right? And I know how hard it is. There's judgmental people all in the church. Guess who's seen by them first? Right? Like they see the popular people first, right? And so a lot of times they get hit with the criticism first. They get hit with the extra critique. They get hit with the judgment, right? And so you're going to experience that. You're going to experience praise, and you're going to experience unfair critique, right, from judgmental people because they see you first because you have the biggest spotlight, whatever. And so you have to be around people who will love you well, who will love you, the Kim, not the person not what you do, but you, who see you, not see your platform, who watches you, not watches all the people who watches you. Like, and so I gravitate to those people, and those people love me well, and they give me the energy to go back around other people who see me like the public person, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Also, I wanted to add on to this question earlier before that. The community that I'm also in, for the fashion community, has a lot of members of the LGBTQA plus, right? And it is well known in my platform that I know God, I love God. How do I go upon going these social interactions with them, in public settings, and not just showing love, but actually kind of saying, hey, I'm sorry that you got that scrutiny. Hey, I'm sorry that this happened to you, because I heard a lot of negative stories about, Christianity and then their sexuality at the same time. So how do I go upon being like, oh, this is a God thing, this is God, not really me, but also like in a way where they can receive it.
The people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, how can it? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
I was trying to say, how can I just speak about God to the LGBT community without not being hated, but in a way that's sensitive towards them, in a way they could understand?
Well, my wife always says, and I'm a big believer of it as well. And I don't think it just applies to the people in the gay community, but I think it applies to people in all walks of life. I think a lot of times in the church, the way we interact with the world is we treat them according to their sin. It's like if you treat somebody, if you go in the LGBTQ plus community and you treat them just like the only sin that they have is homosexuality, they're gonna feel not seen, right? They're a holistic person, right? They have dreams, they have failures, they have hopes, right? And so I think one way to love the gay community well is to know that God sees the whole person, and for you to show them that you see the whole person. You just don't see. A lot of times people come, to my wife and says, can you minister to my daughter? She's gay. And it's just like, why you don't talk to me about her pride? Why you don't talk to me about her being disrespectful to her parents? Why you don't talk to me about her greed? Like, why is the only thing you see is her sexuality, right? And so I think, to be frank, I think the church and the world has made an idol out of homosexuality. Like, we both have made an idol out of it. We have to just start seeing people as people, and we have to start loving people accordingly, right? And so I think that we shouldn't make like homosexuality the whole tree, but treat it as one sin of the branch, right? On the sin tree, right? It's not the whole tree. And so I think a lot of times we don't connect with that community because we just don't love them. And so ask them their name, love them well, invite them to your community, invite them to church, share the gospel with them, share your story with them, and sometimes you might do that before you even have one conversation about their sexuality. And I bet they'll feel more seen by you if you did that.